Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN Report. You see me in uniform, you feel me? About to let y'all know what's happening. So, the Trump administration announced plans to shift $270 million over to help pay for its highly contested Remain in Mexico policy. This is the policy where, for asylum seekers, they actually have to remain in Mexico in order for them to even be considered for asylum in the United States. So they stay in Mexico near these places at the border or whatever. Oftentimes, like, those are detention centers as well, so a lot of times not safe. But they remain in there while their information is processed. Now, 155 million of this 270 million is actually comes from FEMA's disaster relief fund. But the money is supposed to pay for like temporary courts that are going to be erected to actually process these asylum situations, as well as creating 7,000 more spaces for migrant detainees. Keep in mind that we're under a national emergency, so we could do this. Green Warren Grad News Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady in uniform, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN Report. So later today, the tropical storm Dorian, I told y'all about that yesterday, it's out there in the Caribbean. It's looking like it's going to make a direct hit on Puerto Rico and could strengthen into a hurricane later today. So the governor of Puerto Rico, the new governor, Wanda Vasquez, she actually declared a state of emergency for the country. So stay tuned, man. Pray for those in PR. Green Wall and Graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN Report. You see me in uniform, still gonna let y'all know what's happening. That's what I'm here for. Now check this out. The Washington Post is reporting that Donald Trump actually has ordered his White House aides to speed up the construction of the border wall along the U.S.-Mexico border and get as much of it done before the 2020 election, even if it means breaking the law. Now, what does breaking the law include? We're talking about seizing land, we're talking about expediting construction contracts, and even circumventing or ignoring environmental regulations. He even said that he would pardon anybody who faces legal repercussions as a result of this, especially in cases of like eminent domain, saying like basically just take the land. So that's the type of rogue renegade executive office that we're dealing with. What are people going to do about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I think people should do something though, but just keep that in mind. That's what's happening. Green Warren Grad. The New World Order, Bishop Grady in full uniform, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN Report. The Trump administration has apparently ended the Deferred Medical Action Program. Now, this program has allowed for immigrants to continue to receive medical care for serious health problems up to 2 years past their visas. So the elimination of this program, as like, you know, Senator for Massachusetts Ed Markey said, you're literally talking about like deporting kids who have cancer. Like, that's how extreme it could get. So the ACLU of Massachusetts actually is out to fight it in court. Stay woke. Green Warren Graduate. The New World Order, Bishop Grady in full uniform, letting y'all know what the fuck is going on for this BFN Report. So 40 people are actually feared dead, and rescue teams are searching for them off the coast of Libya, where a boat carrying dozens of refugees had actually capsized. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it flipped over or whatever. A lot of people drowned, but the Libyan Coast Guard was actually able to rescue like 65 people. But the Associated Press actually reports that at least 5 people have for sure been killed, including a Moroccan woman and child. Now, keep in mind, as a lot of boats have been trying to cross the Mediterranean, going from Africa to Europe. 900 people are estimated to have died this year alone in migrants trying to cross the Mediterranean Sea. So, and keeping in mind, in regard to like the Libyan coast, I mean, even last month there was a boat that capsized and 150 people were actually killed. So, it's getting really desperate over there. Green Wall and Graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN Report. So, over in the Palestinian occupied territories, there was actually 2 bombs that went off, killing 3 Hamas police officers. Now, this was obviously alarming, and they of course, Hamas blamed Hamas being like, you know, the de facto government for Palestine, right? Of course, they blamed Israel for the attack, especially in light of the fact that Israeli forces had actually attacked a post earlier that day, and even the day before they actually had an airstrike against what they said was a Hamas post due to what they said was retaliation for cross-border rocket fire that Hamas actually denied involvement in. But these bombings that Hamas is blaming on Israel, other sources are saying that it could have been like Islamic State. So we'll see what happens. Green Wall and Graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady in full uniform, letting y'all know what the fuck is happening out here. I meant what the fuck is going on, you digs me? Now, over there in the United Kingdom, in Britain, actually, Queen Elizabeth has actually approved the request of current Prime Minister, the new guy, Boris Johnson's request to suspend Parliament between mid-September and mid-October. Now, this is going to increase the chances of a no-deal Brexit, pardon me. Now, Brexit, this is the United Kingdom trying to leave the European Union, and it's scheduled to do so on October 31st. So it leaves a lot of lawmakers very little time to actually consider other legislation that's can make a real Brexit deal possible. A lot of people are in fear of a no-deal Brexit because it's going to upset, the markets. Basically, it's going to fuck with people's money. But, rich people always can stay on top, so they're not worried. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned with this Brexit saga. Your days, Green Wall Graduation. We'll do the Bishop Grady in full uniform, letting y'all know what the fuck is going on out here. Check this out. In New York City, they actually had a trial day that allowed for 16 accusers of a billionaire sexual predator, Jeffrey Epstein, to actually testify against the deceased man. Now, Jeffrey Epstein was found dead earlier this month, hanging in a jail cell. It looked like he killed himself, but a lot of people suspect foul play because his case was likely going to open up accusations and cases against other co-conspirators that are likely to be like some very powerful people. I mean, dude was basically taking these young girls, fucking all on them, sexually abusing them, and then pimping them out. So, these powerful parties, especially people like the Trumps and Bill Clintons and all of that, all these people are implicated, possibly. Now, these 16 women got to testify, though. Prosecutors were trying to get the case dropped since he's dead, but U.S. District Court Judge Richard Berman actually allowed for this platform for the women to speak they side of the story, and salute to him for that. Green Wall. So the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. So handpicked Attorney General William Barr, handpicked by Donald Trump after replacing Jeff Sessions' racist ass, right? Voted in by a majority right-wing Senate. This dude is planning a $30,000 party at the Trump International Hotel in Washington, D.C. Now, this raises a lot of eyebrows, right? You would think it's a legal violation, but apparently he's not going to use the Justice Department's money. He's going to use his own money. So it is, while it's technically legal, it's still raising a lot of eyebrows. He's told an ethical line, as they're saying, because how much dick sucking, slurping and bourbon can you do, for real? Like, you're supposed to hold a position that's technically supposed to be nonpartisan, you know what I'm saying? So it just seems weird. But keep in mind that Washington, D.C. and Maryland already tried to get Trump on the Emoluments Clause because they, as they said, they're people that are traveling into the country, supposed to do dealing with the government or whatever, that are patronizing his business, trying to gain favor with Trump. But he was found not guilty of that by 3 Republican judges. Keep that in mind. Green Wall and Graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. So a federal judge yesterday in Missouri actually blocked temporarily the Missouri's 8-week abortion ban, which basically says that after 8 weeks you can't have an abortion, no exceptions for rape or incest. And keep in mind that some people don't even know if they have a baby when they 8 weeks pregnant or whatever. So that's something to really consider. But even if they did, that's just a very early time. They're definitely not showing, you know what I'm saying, at 8 weeks, so it's ill. But this thing you got to keep in mind that the Planned Parenthood and the ACLU actually have a case already pending against that's being fought now. The ACLU of Missouri and Planned Parenthood. So we'll see how this all turns out. Green Wall and Graduate. We'll do the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. So the opioid crisis has been taking America by storm, especially white America, you dig? But check this out. And I told y'all yesterday about how an Oklahoma judge actually ruled that Johnson & Johnson was guilty for essentially inducing this crisis in their state in order them to pay over $500 million. I'm sure that scared a lot of culprits shitless, but including the Purdue Pharma, which is the main culprits of this opioid crisis, which is owned by the Sackler family. Even though they were also sued by Oklahoma and actually settled before it went to trial, but nevertheless they offered publicly to 10 to 12 billion dollars, 3 billion of which is coming from the actual Sackler family, to actually settle all 2,000 cases, lawsuits that are coming against them. It's actually more than that, actually, but it's over 2,000 lawsuits. And within this deal, they would actually file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, then restructure the company into a for-profit public benefit trust that would essentially benefit the plaintiffs of these lawsuits. So we'll see if people bite on that. Greenwald and New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report, man. Now, this immigration shit is getting real. You know what I mean? Like, it's now to the point where they don't even want the smart motherfuckers. Now, Palestinian 17-year-old Ishmael Ajawi, he was actually traveling from Lebanon, his home in Lebanon, whatever, to actually attend Harvard University for his freshman year, and where he was supposed to go there on full scholarship. And he actually was met by and heavily questioned at Boston's Logan Airport, talking about his religious practices. You know what I mean? They then searched his phone, saw posts of his friends that were actually critical of like the United States. And they basically sent his ass back to Lebanon and revoked his visa. So that just lets you know what type of game the Homeland Security motherfuckers is playing. You know what I mean? Hopefully he gets the justice he deserves, but do keep in mind that Hezbollah, which actually is the main political party out there in Lebanon, is actually on the terrorist organizations list for the U.S. Greenwald and Graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady in full uniform, let y'all know what the fuck is going on with this BFN report. So shout out to Greta Thunberg. Now, for those who don't know who that is, this is a 16-year-old Swedish girl who's gained a lot of notoriety in the past couple of years for being outspoken about climate change, representing the people who was going to affect the most, obviously, the young folks. Now, her being 16 years old and Swedish has not kept her from garnering a following, a lot of attention, and using that to put pressure on governments to actually make moves on climate change. So currently she's actually on like a little bit of a tour to these United Nations climate summits, you know what I mean, and with a seat at the table, 16 years old. She actually took a 60-foot solar powered yacht from Europe all the way over to America. She's expected to arrive in Manhattan today. She took a boat because she didn't want to leave the carbon footprint that air travel does. So, you know what I'm saying? Yo, salutes to her. She's going to end up in Santiago, Chile, too, next. Greenwald and Graduation.